So it's not so easy to just put it as A because my clitoris fell out. I'm the head of household. It's because I
What?
am a phenomenal leader. It's why I'm the head of
I'm
household.
not I'm not arguing your leadership. I'm arguing the fact that even without you recognizing that the structure that you're enacting, because it's a nuanced argument to say that her leadership, my leadership is strong and she carries things out. The fact is the structure is biblical. If you're gonna say that you don't give credence to it, then that would mean that your marriage looks different than most people's marriages. Now you may have one-offs. You guys may carry out your day-to-day different, but the structure is the same.
So what we
Hey,
were
Bob.
talking about was Sharon likes to keep reenacting Black Snake Moan in his household, and Darwin hates that movie. That's what we were talking about.
Oh no, I got it. I understood exactly what Sharon was saying. I didn't understand the pushback from what Sharon was saying because it just seems like it was like it seems like it was being intentionally misunderstood. So I completely understood what Sharon was saying.
I mean, I agree with Bo. It kind of went left. But before that, True made some really great points. So I do agree that marriage can't be done without God's assistance. We know that there's a lack of tribe, family, inclusiveness in our marriage. It's very just me and you. We built a fortress. Anybody know anything about 48 laws of power? You're not supposed to do that. But anyway, another conversation for another day. He made really good points about patience and elevation and just being able to endure the trials and tribulations of life. That went back to what we initially were talking about, supposedly talking about the broader aspects of better and for worse. And he made a good point about like the shaming of a person's lifestyle, relationship status, and such. So I'll leave it there because I think everything else we're kind of so far away from that. But again, True made some really good points. So I'll leave it there.
True ain't never make good points.
You lying, Sharon.
Hey, Sharon, listen, you about to undo everything I just said about being on that silly. True make some great points. Don't do that, big dog. Don't do that.
Okay,
Sir.
but hold on, Sharon, though. So to add to your point, outside of everything else, whether it was contextual or not, I think you add a great layer based on what we initially were talking about, like people exiting marriages a little too soon and not waiting it out. And I think you made a very good point in terms of not doing that and doing whatever was necessary. We get what you were saying. We ain't got to go there, but I think that's a really good point to make because a lot of us don't want to do that. And I think that's what some of us were also saying. People don't want to do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. But I just think you sticking it out and saying, you know what, I am willing to do whatever's necessary. I think people's pride and ego getting in the way of them doing that. And I think the illusion of options. Well, you know what? You gonna get out the way so I can see what else is out there. So thank you for saying that. So again, I don't want to, because I just wanted to land that. I get your point. Thank you, Sharon. You made a good one. I land.
I didn't get
I
an
got a question for
opportunity
True.
to push back on. I didn't get an
Hey,
opportunity
True,
to
can
push.
you hear me?
Oh, go
Oh
ahead.
shit, my bad.
The question is, you said that marriages are not going to work without God, right? Do you believe that there are marriages that exist that don't incorporate God?
Um, I think that there's marriages that
Oh no, I gotta
exist.
refresh my damn thing. My bad.
Okay.
Internet whooping y'all ass tonight.
I don't know what's going on with the mobile devices, and
I should be the one that having a problem. But yeah, I'm absolutely Darwin, living proof of what's that question you asked me.
Nigga, you have the second fastest internet speed in the world. What are you talking about?
you said that
Sharon,
you are living proof. So you don't believe in God, Sharon?
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I don't believe in religion, so I didn't get married under the covenant of God.
Well, that makes your stance
So
make
does
a
that
lot more
make
sense.
does that make True claim properly refuted?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you feel about True? Would you recant that, or would you make an argument that in some shape, form, or fashion that Sharon's marriage does incorporate God, even if he don't know it.
I don't think Sharan is operating off of authenticity. I think a lot of people think you can take something like marriage, which is biblically based, and then practice in it. And then you can see examples throughout the earth that people don't necessarily give reverence to God, but they're existing in the ecosystem that was created. So I don't too much entertain it. Like, oh, I'm married and we're together. That's great. That's just like a stripper can go strip and then go get educated and then form a business and be successful. It does not mean that your one-off example is something that should be modeled, in my opinion. He may just be the exception to the rule, but he's a one-off. You can look at the pure numbers. Just look at the statistics when we're talking about marriage. Now, Sharan, marriage and relationships are suffering ever since people stopped doing it the right way.
No, but that's not what the conversation wasn't about statistics. The conversation was, can you have a successful marriage without God being a part of your relationship? And you absolutely can have a successful marriage without God in your relationship.
No, you cannot, because then we have to get into the specifics of what you're measuring success to be, which is why I introduced statistics to not make it personal. Look at the statistics. It's almost hard to argue that marriage at one point was structured under the confines of biblical practice, whether you gave reverence or not, because marriage is a biblical thing. It is not a worldly thing.
And also the time that you are referencing was referenced on misogynistic views as well, that the woman can't leave, that he could, like what Darwin said earlier, right? Hey, I could go be and cheat as long as the woman ain't married. All these fake ideas that is just not true in the Bible. The fact that majority of the men that go by these Bible reference, they believe that it's man, woman, then child. They always forget God for some reason when they having this conversation. It's God, man, woman, child, right? So a lot of men that use this reference as religion and Bible, they don't even go by their own doctrination.
Okay, so let's explore that, Sharan. I'll ask you, when you married your wife, did you take her last name or did she take your last name?
She took mine. It sounds better.
Okay. Would you say that you are the head of your household, or would you say that your wife is the head of your household?
What do clarify head of the household?
It's pretty simple. Head of household means that somebody is at the head of that household. If you're not head of household, that means you're not the head of that household. So would that be your role or your wife's role?
So that question is very nuanced in reality, because I'm not going to do nothing within my household without communicating that with my wife. But at the same time, I built such a great track record in history that the decisions that I make, a lot of them I do not have to communicate with her, because she understands what I'm attempting to do, because we already established a plan together and I'm executing on those plans. So it's not so easy to just put it as because my clitoris fell out, I'm the head of household. It's because I am a phenomenal leader. It's why I'm the head of household.
I'm not arguing your leadership. I'm arguing the fact that even without you recognizing that the structure that you're enacting, because it's a nuanced argument to say that her leadership, my leadership is strong and she carries things out. The fact is the structure is biblical. If you're going to say that you don't give credence to it, then that would mean that your marriage looks different than most people's marriages. Now, you may have one-offs. You guys may carry out your day-to-day different, but the structure is the same.
And that's why I had to put that nuance in it, because it's not the same. Because your structure is built on, because the man is the head of the household, not the person that's actually putting in work and have a track record of history of moving in the right direction. Those are two completely different things, because if she had a better track record of doing X, Y, and Z, I would have no problem with understanding who is going to move our family in a better direction, quicker, faster, and in a hurry. So it could have that who is the person that is best equipped for the family at the time. That's what I'm saying. Yours is strictly on because he's a man, therefore he's the head of household, and therefore he's the leader. That is the difference. That's a very important nuance that has to be fleshed out.
I think what you're doing, Sharan, and then I'll pass it so that others can involve themselves in the conversation. I think what you're doing is what women do a lot of times. It's the argument that I gave that a director at a company can say, I'm in charge, but forget that they got hired. A wife gets acquired. So she can be calling the shots in your household. She can be paying the bills in your household. Hell, you can speak very little to her. And because she understands your mindset through some conversations you guys had, she may be appearing as she is functioning in the leadership capacity. But leadership is not just because you're man, it's structure. And I think that's where we continue to don't know why, but there's order to everything. So the beauty about marriage, in my opinion, is that you do get to formulate it the way you want. So if your wife just so happens to be a lot more savvy with finances or whatever, cool, let her enact that. But she is doing it under the authority and the support of the man. That is biblical structure, my brother. If she operates, you just said it, she just can't leave. I wouldn't allow her to leave. Well, what gives you the authority to dictate to an autonomous person that they just leave? What are you holding her to?
And so you are doing what you are saying women do. I gave you example of history and a track record. For some reason, that part is, I don't know, it's going in one ear and out the other. I'm giving you literally a history behind it. And you ignoring that fact.
I didn't ignore it. I just can't see how you can get to something like the way you and your wife interact and then push aside the structure of how typically marriage goes. And I get it. A lot of people in these spaces, unfortunately, are not mature enough, in my opinion, to see past the genitalia. I'm a man, so therefore I'm the best leader. I didn't say that. I'm saying that the structure is still biblical, regardless of the fact that you as a man necessary to bring yourself to a union of marriage is asinine to think that it's not biblically based. Because if the significance of the relationship was so great, why take it to the highest level of honor and structure on a commitment level? If your leadership was just that strong, then you can lead her outside the confines of marriage. Why didn't you take that route? Why did you feel it necessary to legalize it?
I found it necessary to legalize it because it benefits my family financially to legalize it. Just like it financially benefit me to structure my business a certain way because it's financially helps me, right? So, for example, if I want to start a retirement fund, I could only put $12,000 as a single man, but as a married man, I could put $24,000 as a married man. So it benefits me financially, not biblically. It doesn't matter if I believe in God or not, whether I'm going to go up or down. This is a financial decision. This is so my children could be in one space. Like I have them all screaming and yelling right now behind me. So it don't have nothing to do with your Bible.